One of the considerations in figuring out which statistical test to use is going to be the nature of your independent variable, and we have some mnemonics for helping you remember which test to use with which type of independent variable. These come from an article called T for Two by Stalder and Olson in 2011 in the Journal of Teaching of Psychology. If you think of the song T for Two, it can help you remember you can use a t-test when you have only two groups. An f-test when you have a few groups, and you compute R when you're measuring instead the strength of a relationship. So let's talk about this. T is for two groups. You can run a t-test if you have two groups and only two at a time can you do a t-test on. So it's only two groups at a time. Now, if you had, let's say, 3 or 4 groups, you wouldn't just pair them all up and run a t-test on every possible pair, because you'd wind up inflating your alpha or your chance of making a type 1 error. So if you have more than 2 groups, you have a few. And instead of a t, you would run an f-test, for example. So think t is for 2, only 2. F is for a few. If you have a few groups, what do we define as a few? It's 2 or more. If you have 2 groups, you may run an f-test on the 2 or a t-test on the 2. The result, whether you claim an effect and reject the null, will be the same regardless of which of these 2 tests you run. But if you have more, so let's say you have 3, 4, 5, or 6 groups, you could not run a t. T for 2, F is for few. And then R is for relationship. When you're measuring the strength of a relationship, you can compute an R, also known as a correlation, or if you want to know an effect size, one of the measures of effect size is R squared. So R is for relationship. If you're measuring the strength of how 2 variables relate, R, relationship.